Namaste. My name is Colleen. I am one of the master instructors with Zen Yoga, Zen Wellness. Here today is about the Zen Yoga process. The ultimate goal with any yoga or wellness paradigm is the idea to master the self. And if you watched the previous video, you know that self-mastery occurs on 3 levels. The physical body level, our energy level, too much energy, like anxiety maybe, or not enough, kind of low, lethargic, possibly depressed kind of energy, and then a mind or a spiritual balance. And this mastery of the mind and the spirit can be looked at just mastering the ability to manage the mind so that you own the mind or the thoughts in your head and not being owned by them, or the idea of a spiritual mastery. So it just depends on how you want to frame that out in your mind. In the idea of mastery, it's been said to master anything, it's going to take 10,000 hours of repetition or practice. So if you want to be a master of the piano, it's 10,000 hours. If you want to be a master of quilting, 10,000 hours. Master gardener, 10,000 hours. Baking, it really truly doesn't matter. A lot of it is just being able to put in the time and go through the process. With yoga, the idea would be no different. So we are looking for those 10,000 hours. Now what I'm going to do today is that 10,000 hours is obviously a lot. So I'm going to give you a big long-term picture and end view, kind of what does it look like when it's finished, and then I'm going to bring you all the way back to today and just getting started with the Zen Yoga process. So of course we have this 10,000 hours to mastery, but like when you were in school, whether it was college or high school, you would say take an hour lesson directly with a teacher or a professor, and then you would go home and shadow that 1 hour with both homework or contemplation. So we have students and we'll talk about this yin-yang theory or 5-element theory, and then they'll go home and they'll go, well, is that yin or yang? How does that work? Which one? Can I place that category in? And you'll always be looking around going, is that one yin or yang? And so that's just a contemplation. So you're going to naturally spend time contemplating the subject matter, no matter what the subject is, especially if you're interested in it. So the idea here is, although it takes 10,000 hours, we really are talking about 1 hour of teaching, and that 1 hour is going to be shadowed by 9 hours at home. So the big long-term process goal would eventually look like 1,000 hours of direct study. And then you would have, in the long-term picture, 9,000 hours for all your contemplation, your homework, your self-study. They say sadhvaya, so a self-study or building a sadhana, a daily practice, and kind of putting that into place. How this works is we're really just going to look at the 1,000 hours here. And that 1,000 hours is very fortunately already kind of been set up by something called the Yoga Alliance. The Yoga Alliance is a national standards that keeps all the yoga industry kind of in integrity, if you would, and make sure that the information that's being passed and the process is clean from the lineage. Again, this is thousands of years of information. I want to make sure that stays connected. They would call it like a sutra or a thread of information. Is it unbroken? Is it short threads? Or is it a really long thread? So we are looking for this longer thread of information, if you would. So we're just going to look at this 1,000 hours. And the Yoga Alliance set it up in blocks. The first block is a 200-hour block. The second block is a 300-hour block. Of course, when you add those two together, you're going to get 500 hours. And then later, there's a 500-hour block. Now, I promised I would just show you the outline, but that 2, 3, and 5 add up to your 1,000 hours. Now, we're not going to talk as much about this, but I'd like for you to kind of understand. So in the 200-hour process, this is going to be a lot of information on base nomenclature, base understanding. This is going to be your foundation. This is the foundation of your postures, the foundation of your energetic anatomy, the foundation of the mind or the spirit, if you would. So this is going to be kind of the building blocks. Think of this as though you were building a house. So first you have the 200 hour, and this is going to be all about your foundation. What's the blueprint going to look like? How many square feet do you want? What kind of plumbing, electrical? What do you need to tie in? Then later what happens is in the 300 hour, you'll start to frame out walls and a roof. And then later in that 500 hour, what you're going to be putting in is drying the walls in, putting all the cabinets and the sinks, and then one day picking out curtains. And then you're going to live in this house, which is you. Your body is your temple for your spirit or your mind. And you're going to live in that particular house that you have built through a specific process. So the 200 hours is really about getting a base level of information and a foundation piece. So what happens is everyone who comes into Zen Yoga starts down this journey. And they all go down this level. I'm going to put a line here too, okay? And it'll make it easier for the future. They're going to come down, and continue down until they hit the 1,000-hour mark, okay? And on that 1,000-hour mark, they will have completed and got a base understanding here, built it, and then be able to live in that house and understanding. So a yogi, of course, we look for techniques to keep ourselves healthy, to keep the mind and the energy balanced. So this whole process is the graduation or the culmination. Now, what happens is everyone tends to go down this road. They get the base, they start to build the walls, put in the roof, drive all the house in, paint it, put in curtains, things of that nature. So everyone kind of passes these check marks, if you would. I'll do one more line along the way. However, some are, of course, most and everyone is here to first take care of themselves. So it's been said that you shouldn't bother helping others with transformation if you're not embodying that transformational process first. So we do want to embody it. Then what happens along the way is individuals will say, hey, I want to share this process with others. I want to share this lineage. It helped me, and now I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to exhale. And they'll come across this path over here. They'll kind of jump over and get an instructor certification. That instructor certification looks like 25 hours of practicum, okay, and a written exam. I'll write that out for you. So we have 25 hours practicum and a written exam, and that's the first level instructor here. This is a very important instructor piece because this is going to be able to reach the most masses, get out community centers, gyms, teaching even friends and family. So the couple ideas here, either track you pick, you're still going to teach by being an example or a warning, it said. So how you live your life is either a teaching for others of how to live and rise up to, or warning maybe of not what to do. So of course we're always looking to ascend. That's what those three balloons were. So we're looking to ascend, if you would, and be that teaching and express that for kind of others to follow. Now most people who join this path jump over and do this first level instructor. The requirements are, of course, the simplest of all of them. Think of like an associate's, bachelor's, and master's kind of paradigm here, like in college. This is the first level. And so they'll do this. A great reason, even if you're not going to go out in the world and teach, to have this piece is, like I tell my children, if you can teach me back your math homework, then I know you understand it. So it's the same process here. If you can teach what you've learned, then you understand it and you embody it on a whole new level. It is not necessary, but it is available. So then they pass this requirement here, and then they'll come back into the process and join the fold, go through the 300 hour. Then again, what some might do is come over here. Everyone will pass that mark, but some might come over here and do these requirements. Of course, these requirements are more strict than those requirements. So this is 50 hours of practicum and then the 5 elemental exam. So that's going to be a bit more work. And then of course you'll come back in and you'll join this process. And once again, few will jump over and grab this one. This one's 108 graduated students and 108 page paper. So it's going to be more intense as you go down, as you should expect it to be. Now, everyone travels down this path, okay? Because they're all looking for a path to self-mastery, feeling better, being able to manage their mind, their emotions, their body, things of that nature. Most jump over here and do the first requirement. This one is probably the most widespread, and it helps get the information out to the world. Now, most do this. Some do this, and few do this, as you would expect. So because of the information and the requirements kind of expand. So know what's happening with your goal. You're either here for self-mastery, and you can set your vision, well, I'd like to start here. Maybe I'll do this as well, or come down here. Know that if you get all the way down and you're like, I'm just going to do self-mastery, and you get down here and you go, I really want to share this with others, you can always go back and obtain this requirement. So it doesn't expire, it doesn't go away. You can come back and achieve that because you've completed the hours. So just know that you can take some stress off. If you're not sure, do your path, take care of you, work on your own ascension and transformation, and if you decide to share it with others, you can come back at any time. Okay, this is the Zen Wellness and Zen Yoga process for self-mastery. Thank you for joining. Namaste.